Hello, everyone. So I am joined by Sanika Patil today. Sanika is an MMA fighter who has a gold medal at national level to her record, and she also has a bronze medal at Asian Championships. Currently, Sanika works with me in the expert network industry, and she's also got an immense background in the fashion industry. I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Sanika, for joining me today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I am super excited about this one. So Sanika, let's just dive right into it. So tell us a little bit about your journey to MMA. It's as amazing as it is. I just wanted to know how you ended up, being part of MMA.
Okay, yeah. So I would like to start with how I feel like I didn't find MMA, MMA found me. Like my entire life, my circumstances have led me to where I am today, and I'm super grateful. My I grew up in a very female-dominated household, I would say. I lived with my great-grandmother, and she was someone who took care of her entire family and of her extended family as well. And my grandmother and my mother were always around. So I think, and also like, I'd like to add how I've been so blessed to always have worked with female bosses. Like I've always been led by that energy. So, but at my childhood, I also felt a certain kind of um fear around male energy. That's because of the kind of relationship my parents share, and also just the way I felt around that energy in general. So the need to just have to learn an art where I can protect myself was always there at the back of my head, but I didn't know what it was. I did not know that something like MMA existed. I just knew that there was like just basic kickboxing and stuff, and we didn't have that in school. We had karate, but I always participated in sports a lot on the side always. Like after school, I always gave like 2 3 hours of my time, and I used to play handball, and I was also like a candidate for NCC, like the National Cadet Corps, and so I did a lot of things, but I found MMA much later in life. I was like a lot of us. I was in a very mentally and emotionally abusive relationship, I would say. And ironically, I that person introduced me to MMA, but that was very like he used to do it, and that just got me into it. Like I think I was very attracted to that space because I wanted to get started, and that's how I jumped into it. But that was very fleetingly. I was just training, and I was trying to lose some weight, and I was trying to learn techniques, but luckily, after I got out of that space, when I realized that was not for me, and very fortunate to have gotten out of that space. And then I found a fight gym where most of them were training to compete. And I started training over there, and I was very new, but within 3 months of my training, my coach just asked me if I would like to compete. And I was 25, so I was already pretty old to start competing. I was training for like 3 years before that, but that was only for I was only learning that art. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think I should. And that's when my life changed. I think at the age of 25, when I first competed, and I also lost that fight, but I was so happy that I just I dove into it. And yeah, that was my journey to how it started.
Did you ever think that that's how it's gonna be? Like, it would lead to that?
Sorry?
Did you ever think that that's what it could lead to potentially when you were just doing it for yourself?
No, not at all. I mean, I just did not. I think I did not spend too much time overthinking at that point of
Yeah.
my life. I was just doing whatever came to me. That's why I always say how MMA found me. Every opportunity, like I did not think twice. I just grabbed onto it, and I just did not see where I come from. I did not see what's there for me ahead. I just did what I was supposed to in the moment. And also um I think I believed in someone else's opinion about me so much. I mean, it has its own pros and cons, but it led me to like how I just started this. So yeah, I was super grateful for that.
Yeah, I think we all tend to kind of seek validation sometimes from someone else. Like, sometimes we start off like that, but then we end up finding ourselves in the process. So
Yeah.
can you recall any times when while you were competing or while you were training to be in competitive space, when you realized that this is something I really really enjoy, or was there a moment where you thought, what am I doing? I do not want to do this.
I always so the level of anxiety that I felt before I got into the ring was I never imagined like I could even I could even feel that much. But I've always wanted to be a performer. Like I always wanted to put myself out there, and I'm also a very competitive person. So this gave me like this platform was like it was perfect for me. I always wanted to. It's just like it's not like I want to win against someone, but I like challenging myself at all times. And I also like to take everyone else along with me. So like it's a very mm, yeah, like that's a mentality I just grew up with. And um the fear I felt and how much I sometimes did not want to do it, but doing it anyway is what like pushed me to just go just pursue that and not just like train but keep on competing, keep on challenging. And I also felt like I want to feel it so much that there's I want to wake up one day and go and compete without feeling that much fear. But that's kind of like I don't know, that's
Yeah.
a bit too much to ask for. I think that's something that you'll always feel. But yeah, the idea of doing it anyway gives me uh yeah, it's so much satisfaction. So
Yeah, yeah. And I think most of our sometimes insecurities and also how we get anxious about things is driven by fear. And when we eventually get the courage to face our fears head on, is when you feel like you're invincible, you can literally do anything. So I think that's exactly what you ended up doing. So it's really, really amazing to know about that.
yeah.
Sanika, can you think of some examples, or if there were any of resistance or societal pressure, if you will, you faced from your, close loved ones or family friends, or anybody around you that when they found out that you are interested in it.
Yeah. um I mean, fortunately, there was not too much pressure from my family till I was training. But as soon as I started competing, I also understand how you get hurt. It's martial arts, and before every competition, we had like a month of a fight camp where we used to go hard on each other. And I was there were only three women versus about 15 men who were fighting at the gym. And so 80% of the time, you're always partnering up with guys who are stronger and bigger than you. So I always used to, so there was 1 month in just before every competition that I used to come home sometimes with a black eye. And so that's when it got difficult for me. So my mom was not very happy with that. My grandmom, I live with my mom and my grandmom, so they were a bit worried. And they always wondered, like, why do you always go for such difficult things? But they made sure that my meals, like, there's a weight cut period that you go through. My meals were ready, and they were very supportive in that case. So I won't complain. And when it comes to societal pressure, I've I have such a tunnel vision. I feel like I do not listen or like bother myself with anything anyone else has to say. I was constantly like, my friends also have been very supportive, and I feel like that's what they've always done. With the society, I always when I went if someone in the building saw me with a black eye, it was always like, they look at you a little weirdly. They don't know what you're doing because I'm not sharing my life with anyone. And also if I'm with some guy and if I have a black eye, so, like those kind of
Yeah,
little,
yeah, yeah.
just like, uh,
Uncomfortable moments, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I would say. But apart from that, so far I haven't, yeah, that's the only glitch in my,
And to be honest, like as much as I know you, Sonic, I don't think you'd even care if people were
yeah,
judging you,
I
which
don't
is
know.
exactly how we need to be, how I need to be,
Yeah,
how all women need to be. So I think we care too much about people's
yeah,
opinions, and it has nothing to do with them, right? So
yeah.
yeah, well done for that. If you can think of broadly three life lessons, Sanika, that you've learned from your MMA journey, what would they be?
I think the one thing that's at the top of my head is the one thing that I learned is that a woman's body is powerful for like it can create life. And I have watched like so many movies and I've like seen every woman around me. And when I went and I put myself in this space, I learned that. I learned how strong I am. And every day when I lifted something heavy and yeah, when I was going against a guy, uh, unfortunately, sometimes these things make you feel stronger. And that's one thing. And another one I think is I learned how to walk the street like a woman should. I didn't feel the need to hide my body with a bag or with my hair in the front. Like I didn't feel the need to do that because I have always been the kind of person who, like, when I was a child, I had my shoulders shrugged and I was very insecure of my body. I was bullied a lot. I don't know any woman who hasn't been sexually assaulted. Honestly, I don't know anyone. So all of these things led me to MMA. And then when I got into this, I learned that I can walk like I should be. And the third one would be I learned that it takes immense strength to be the most gentle version of yourself. It was easier for me to be this angry young woman who has been through stuff and I'm just mad at the world. But MMA taught me how to be gentle and just soft towards everyone, no matter what life or what people or no matter what puts you through, just anything. But yeah, every day I learn that it takes so much strength to be softer.
When you say that taught you to be softer, is it because although you are competing in a game that requires a lot of strength, but it's also about humility and accepting. And at the end of the day, it's, obviously everybody competes to win, but it more so about learning and accepting the result eventually. So is that how you relate to that? It just taught you to be like not soft, I would say, to be a more gentle person as compared to before.
Yeah. I think, yeah, definitely, because when I did not feel physically stronger, I felt the need to show that I was stronger than I am. And, that's what made me like, there was a time in my life where we have a lot of this public transport rickshaws that we use, and a lot of rickshawalas tend to like look at you through the mirror. And I was so angry. I just broke this guy's mirror once and I left. This was right before I started MMA. And I was just so frustrated. And that was the time when I felt the need to show this person that like I am strong and I can protect myself. But now I think my energy has shifted so much after I started training MMA and I have put so much effort to be a stronger person physically that I do not feel the need to show it. Like I know from within that I am strong. It helps. It helps to know that I can protect myself. Even if there are like two men in front of me, I know I can handle it. Yeah, that's a worst case
Right.
scenario, but I know I can. Like, I know techniques and I've learned that and I've spent a lot of my time to do that. So yeah, like when I know it, it just makes me stronger. It makes me so much like more confident than I used
Yeah.
to be.
I think it's definitely a lot about confidence, especially as women. I think the way we grow up, it's not, even if it's not your immediate family or people that you closely relate, kind of in touch with. There's so much that kind of makes you feel like you said earlier that you shrug your shoulders, like your shoulders were down, or you didn't feel like
Yeah.
feeling very conscious or insecure. All these things come with the need that's like that women have to somehow be behaving in a certain way, or they should be a certain way. And then when you mentioned about auto rickshaw driver, for example, looking at your mirror, like so many times we've all felt
Yeah.
the need, and also the frustration that why do I
Yeah.
have to do that? And like it's kind of normalized so much that it shouldn't be. But yeah, really really interesting thoughts there. Um, so with MMA, I know we talked about this before, and I know that for time you were pursuing different things, and we work together, and I have so much respect and admiration for your work ethic. But going back to MMA, what do you think is the future of MMA in India? Like, is there enough support provided in the country?
I think when it comes to support, there's zilch. Like there's not just towards women, but even the men uh, fighters who are professionally fighting full time. It's like I don't think like that they are always putting themselves out there to ask for support, especially financial, because it's needed. Athletes spend so much money on their training, on their supplements, and it's expensive. And since they're doing it full time, the only thing that they're doing is taking some personal trainings, and there's only so much time they have. Full time athletes have to train 2 to 3 times a day, and they're not left with that much time, and it's necessary. Um so I don't know. I feel like if you compare Indian athletes to others, the potential is the same, but athletes outside are doing so much better than Indian athletes, and uh, the country is definitely not supportive at all. But there are some leagues which are not Indian who are trying to be supportive. So that's the only hope I see from where I stand today. And yeah, but like I wish we had more support, especially towards women, because like when the last time I competed for a jiu-jitsu, this was a district, like it was just athletes from Mumbai. I had to compete with two women who were like a weight class, 2 weight classes up. So they were like 15 kgs more than me. But just because I'm here to compete, I did it anyway. And so that's where I feel like there's that gap where people like they start and then they just like it's of course this is my hobby as well. It's like my side hustle, but I have tried to do it whenever I got time in the morning. I went for training. Whenever I got time in the night, I trained, and I wanted to compete. And I've been blessed to have that kind of support, so I could compete as much as I have so far, and I will in the future. But I know so many athletes who just stop because it's practically impossible. My last competition was in Kyrgyzstan, and the tickets and the stay was expensive. So it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's just very very difficult.
yeah, I think that's the thing about our country, given the you know the a lot of support and help goes towards a couple of sports, and everything else isn't where it should be. And I really hope that there are more efforts made towards it. But yeah, it's a tough sport,
Yeah,
especially for
it
women,
is.
because as we discussed, like even if you don't care about opinions and everything, if you are the one who's passionate, but if you don't have enough support, you just can't be sponsoring yourself for those trips and
Yeah,
everything. So yeah, it does need a lot of work, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but hopefully it gets better someday.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think we touched upon this a little bit. Like I see you as a very strong woman, mentally and physically. And what would you want to tell young girls, girl children growing up, in terms of fighting their fears and finding a place in this world, whether it's in sport or whether it's about representing women in any other, like in a workplace or any other place, places where women aren't fairly represented. So as we were talking, how I don't think that's the case with everyone, like all children, but we do tend to see, like generally that's the case, that young girls growing up do feel as if they can independently express them, like, can be, they're not like made to feel like they are independent, they can do stuff on their own, or like, feel like they can do whatever they want as a younger boy childhood. So what would you want to say to any young kids growing up, to how to face their fears and what not to worry about?
Um, I think with from everything that I have experienced, I would I would really like everyone to know that you just have to grow through everything that you're going through. Like we've heard this so many times, and I have to constantly keep reminding myself that no matter where you are, you have to believe that, if you're just relentless enough to just chase what you really want to do in your heart, you are going to find the right people who are, vibrating at the same frequency as you are. It pretty much works like magic, and I have lived it. Like I feel like I'm like I'm so strong. I'm such a strong believer of this, that you will find your tribe, and you may be privileged enough to grow in an environment like that, and you may not. Like a lot of our mothers are housewives, and like some of my friends grew up with their parents being like, they're very woke, and they put themselves out there, they're working, they're doing 2 3 different jobs. And I feel it's very important to make sure that you are looking up to the right kind of people who you think are doing well. Like I think I have tried to do that. I have tried to shadow women who I thought were strong, and I knew that that is something that I have to do. And also, like I mentioned, that I was lucky enough to grow in a family like that. I had a great grandmother who was such a strong figure, and I think I get a lot from her. I was just still like, she was with me till I was in the fourth or fifth grade, but I still have so much that I bring to the table today from those days. And apart from that, with my grandmom, my mom, and like I said, I have always tried my best to put myself around women who are strong personalities. So I think I would advise that to like younger girls, and also to remember that anyone's opinion about you does not make who you are. Like anyone saying anything to you is just a reflection of their insecurities. If because uh, being a little girl in this city has been difficult for me, and I don't know. I don't feel like it has changed too much. Uh, if you're a little different, like by different, I would mean even like a skin complexion. That's why I got bullied a lot. And like if you're a little shorter, or a little too tall, if skinny, like there are so many things that people are going to comment on. And I just always want to make sure I go out there. I would love to hold everyone's hand and like tell them that this is not who you are. Like this is just their insecurities, and don't let that affect you. Yeah, I think that's
And you're so right. Like, you only give others what you have, right? So if you are full of insecurities, and if you have, people who are insecure, they kind of don't like something about themselves, or, that's all they have. So that's what they
yeah.
give to other people. And when you have abundance of love from everyone around you, and you kind of recognize that, you want to take care of yourself and you love yourself, that's only when you can actually give it out to other people. So I think that's very important lesson I personally have learned over the years. But yeah, that's so important. So yeah, well, thank you so much, Sanika. It's been such a pleasure. I've really, really enjoyed talking to you. And yeah, and I cannot wait to have many more like this. And if I was to ask the last question, generally as a person, what is it that drives you? Whether it could be anything, like in your personal life, whether it's your MMA thing, or whether it could be your work, or I know you have kind of inclination towards fashion, or style, whatever it is. Like, what is it that drives you as a person?
I think it's such a combination of all these things. I it's just I'm such a chaser, and I have a picture in my mind, like my mood board, my vision board in my head, and I whether it comes to work, and I am very passionate about everything that I do, and I every day I try to achieve the right balance. I'm still young, and I'm still like learning, and I'm still trying my best, but like I feel like I have the power to manifest everything that I want, and I just believe that I will get it. Period. Like, that's my attitude towards life. And yeah, when work, I've always pictured myself to be a very successful, smart, not just like when I was studying fashion designing, I just knew that this is not the only thing that I want to do, because I don't know, like the way I looked at it did not satisfy me. Like I said, like there are so many things that I want to do. I want to be stylish. I want to be like a really smart and a hardworking girl, and I also want to be very strong. So the combination of these three things like drives me every day. Every day I wake up and I know that I have to look myself in the mirror and just tell myself that you got this, you're going to do this, and you're strong, you're beautiful, and you're smart. And I make sure that I do that every day. Yeah.
No, that's great. And please carry on doing what you're doing, and and keep inspiring people as you've inspired me, and I'm sure you inspired a lot of other people, a lot of other girls, other women. So yeah, thank you so much. And like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I look forward to having many more of these. Thank you, Sanika.
Thank you so much, Jaggi. Thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. Pleasure is all mine. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.